Explain to me a little bit about your sign. It says, "Keep God out my..." Hey everyone, I'm Tiernan Rose Mandelberg with MRC TV. In lieu of the recent Supreme Court draft leak regarding the Roe v. Wade overturn, we traveled to Washington, D.C. in front of the Supreme Court to talk to protesters and hear their thoughts, and it certainly was a lot. Check it out.
I mean, I feel like this sums it up perfectly. I don't know. It's all, they're talking about what God wants and how he's disappointed in me and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just about controlling women's bodies.
Tell me a little bit about your sign. I see, are these coat hangers?
They are.
Okay, yeah. Tell me about this.
Well, the Supreme Court today signaled that they want to overturn 50 years of what their own justices have called super precedent or precedent on precedent in Kavanaugh's opinion. And that means that they're lying to you.
So tell me a little bit about what you've got right over here.
I've got here an exhibit of coat hangers because this court is forcing women into back alleys, just like in the 1930s and 40s and 50s.
Technically, the leak, if it does come out, it doesn't really necessarily ban abortion. It'll just leave it up to the state. So what do you think about that, since there's a large crowd of people against this verdict if it is to come to fruition?
It's up to the states. I still think most states are going to ban it because I feel like it's almost a facade to say, well, no, we didn't do it, but
so you think most states will say no more abortions?
Yeah, most of them, because again, church controls, there's no separation of church and state in any state, and it's just disgusting.
So just tell me, guys, what you're doing out here, what your signs represent,
Yeah, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I'm out here representing my own belief system that Roe v. Wade should not be repealed and everyone should have access to safe abortions.
Church, corporations run our government. At this point, churches are basically corporations. This is all rooted in pretty much every aspect: money, racism, sexism.
My personal belief doesn't always line up with what the church says, but I do believe that anyone should be able to choose for themselves at what point they deem necessary that they would need an abortion.
I think it's pretty obvious what the coat hangers represent. It's the only opportunity for health care in a country where abortion's banned.
It's not fair to put just women through the process of giving birth. That's traumatic. And once a woman has a child, it doesn't mean she doesn't want to have it. There will always be that certain attachment to it. But it just doesn't mean that you're prepared to make that decision and have that attachment yet.
Why do you think people get abortions? When do you think that it's necessary? When do you what's the line? And when do you think that life begins, if we're talking about that?
Well, I think life begins when there's a viable baby. Life does not begin in a viable way at conception. It doesn't begin...
Even though it has its own complete set of DNA and cells and all that stuff? It's unique set...
No, but it's not a viable child until it has gestated for at least 22, 23 weeks.
So then when is a child viable?
In that range where Roe has put it and where it has worked.
So what classifies as viable then? What do you mean, like heartbeat, or what do you think?
You can't have a viable human being with a heartbeat, just a heartbeat.
Tell me a little bit about your sign. It's a little bit controversial. A lot of people on the left are against pro-life. So tell me about your sign and what it stands for.
So I became a Democrat in 2016 after Trump won the Republican primary. And I became a Democrat, and I really saw the Democratic Party as the party that stood up for human rights, that stood up for life, that fights for the LGBT community, that supports Black Lives Matter, that supports climate action. But then we fail on the greatest human rights violation in America, that is abortion, and I am here to fight to change my party's views on abortion. It might be an uphill battle, but that is an uphill battle I am willing to fight.